army. Here's how the story began 10 months ago. Richard Parker used to work as
as I see it, is the originating aggressor regime that provoked Russia's special operation intervention response, which I characterize as really a true humanitarian intervention, which I will explain in backwards, which goes as far back as the U.S. NATO-backed Euromaidan coup d'etat in 2014, along with the ensuing mass onslaught and slaughter against the Ukrainians and Ukrainian Russian. Don't forget there are Ukrainians involved in this also, not just Russian speakers. And the essentially war on terror from the Kiev regime, of course, with the help of their neo-Nazi battalion allies, against the people of Donbass for the last 8 long, bloody years. Now, here's what's important. This has been censored from the Western media. And that's the critical point we're trying to make here. So,
well, first of all, you have to realize that everything is censored from every point of media, and what's going on in Russia, they're being censored. What's going on here, we're being censored. We don't know, whenever any inconvenient piece of understanding of where we came from or what we are comes out, they go, oh, that's cancel culture, And no one realizes that, Martin Luther King said he got his idea of nonviolent resistance from Gandhi. Gandhi got it from the women's movement in the United States that organized in the 1840s and basically realized it was going to take 100 years because at the time, no matter what socioeconomic group white women were in, they were still slaves. They were property. They couldn't own anything. They couldn't control anything. Even if they made the money, they couldn't do it. So what we're seeing in Ukraine is a picture. I keep speaking of the big splat. I keep speaking of the hidden hand. I keep speaking of the deeper, longer picture because it's not just since 2014 that's been going on. This has been going on since the 4th century. And this is a deeper spiritual combatant, right? And of course, you look at the president. Here's a guy who was a stand-up comedian, had real thin skin, and here he is, the George Washington of Europe. Come on. This is, I keep saying, this is a scripted soap opera, and innocent people are dying. Innocent Russians are dying, innocent Ukrainians are dying, and it's going to expand into other European countries. And in the end, what, I keep talking about Mr. Globaloney. I keep talking about, a woman like Catherine Austin Fitts, an economist who worked for the Reagan administration and was there when what went down in 2008 was started back in 1980, right? So all of these things are interconnected. I even use the term the Illuminati or Masons. People, oh my God, what's he talking about? Oh, blah, blah, blah. I can't listen. Oh, that's stupid. You're stupid. Well, how many times have I told you I'm a freaking moron, and don't believe a word I say? And good morning, good evening, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your sensei, Al Bob. I was on the Bob the other day. A friend of mine picked me up. We went to this bar he hangs out, and it was like the last day of its existence. And I thought that bar really caught the interestingness of the American population, the white, because, well, there was one black guy there, and his wife was white and had the money. And anyway, and everyone was buzzed. And so I read a lot of people's palms, so everyone bought me a cocktail. But I only had 2, right? And I had a basket of French fries. That was about it. Everyone else, there were people so drunk they were falling off their chairs. And this guy was going on about, the evilness of society, and it said, this is Revelations, blah 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 blah. Right? He never even read it, and he's going on about how Jesus was the devil. Well, it's quite interesting how close he is, because the Jesus that is promoted by Christianity, yeah, pretty much, and people don't realize that Jesus Christ and Satan were like twin brothers. The two bookends of Gob's enterprise, and you can see those two bookends in every world conflict. I mean, Yemen. Or us. We invaded Afghanistan and Iraq with no reason. There was no proof. World Trade Center comes down. We did not do an investigation. We just, 3 hours after it happened, it was Al Qaeda and bin Laden. Well, bin Laden's from Saudi Arabia, right? He's a rich kid from Saudi Arabia. Majority of the kids who were allegedly on the aircraft that allegedly committed suicide going into buildings were from Saudi Arabia. And hours after that, Georgie Porgy got all the Saudi Arabian friends out on private jets. When all of the air over America was closed down, these jets left American soil through that closed down airspace, and protected by F-16s all the way back, right? And so no one looks at the deeper picture. Everyone goes, no, it's, what is the word conspiracy, right? Look it up in the dictionary. It means when more than two people come together to organize a hidden agenda and pull it off. That's conspiracy. And theory is just that word, a postulation of a potential dynamic of a situation, right? That's all it is, right? It's not, keep on saying, don't believe a word I say. And good morning, good evening, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland with your Sensei Al Bob. Here, Agriot to tell you a story. And what story can I tell? But a few shows ago, I was, going on about how I went to Búzios in Brazil, and it's a little peninsula 200 miles north on the Atlantic coast of Brazil, and it's a beautiful place. And it's only there because there's this big hospital there that basically does plastic surgery. And the two movies, Boys from Brazil, all the boys from Brazil are there in Búzios, right? And the movie Brazil by Terry Gilliam, right, where Robert De Niro plays me in the future. They named why did Terry Gilliam make a movie like that and call it Brazil? Because it's exactly what's going on there, and it's exactly what's going on in Ukraine and Russia, the United States, and England. And you have to realize the world is controlled by three places. There's three legs of this stool. And just like the word stool, it's a brown, smelly thing. That's our world politics, a stool. And the three legs of that stool are the Vatican, right? Vatican City. And that is they have representatives in the WHO and at the UN and at the World Court, like they were a separate country. The Vatican does, right? They're a separate country. The city of London, it's a separate entity. It has nothing to do with England, right? Or Great Britain or the Commonwealth, right? It is an entity unto itself. And the District of Columbia, right? It is it's a district in Colombia, and it has nothing to do with America, right? And, it's controlled by admiralty law. And, and so people have their opinions on it, but they never do any homework, So what was truly interesting, the drunk guy, I'm a And I said, "Oh, so you know what NoHub is? What's that?" It's cast iron pipe. What's that? It's like things that take shit away from the house. Oh no, we use plastic. I said, "Well, which type?" Plastic. I said, "Well, is it PEX, PVC? What is it?" And plastic. I said, "Okay, I've been doing it forever." Well, how long have you been doing septic? About a week. I'm just learning. I used to do PEX all the time. Said, "Do you have any tools?" No. I said, "Well, how can you be a plumber and you have no tools and you don't know what NoHub is, right?" So, I mean, that's basically yeah. And he was the most got it guy, but he was out of his freaking mind, right? And he was going on about his kids, and I said, "Well, that's the most important job you have." "Well, I'd rather kill them than let them be perverted by this world." I said, "I don't think so. All you have to do is be a good example. That's your most important job, is be a good example." That's when he fell off the chair, drunk, onto the floor. And, everyone he was such a drunk that everyone just kinda looked and went on. Didn't I helped him up. I said, "So is this a good example for your kids?" "Well, you gotta know that the end time's coming." I said, "No, buddy, the end times have always been here. That's what this place is." And he didn't know whether I was, a angel or, a demon. He was, like, looking at me, and, I got him to, basically I went away, and he moments later, he forgot that I existed. And then he fell off the chair again. Then he went to play pool, and he couldn't, he got the balls out, and he couldn't even rack them. He was so drunk. And then when he tried, he couldn't, like, he just kept scratching the white ball. So, he walked away, and the table was full of balls. So I just went and ran the table. And everyone, was kind of watching me do that. And a couple of people said, "So you play pool?" I said, "Yeah." And then the drunk guy said, "I paid for that game." I said, "Yeah, but you walked away from it." I waited about 10 minutes. You didn't come back. Then you fell off the chair again. I thought I just, put the balls away. "You trying to show me up?" I said, not really. I don't have to do that. So anyway, that's a good example of what's going on in the world. Wherever you are, just look around you, and it's the microcosm. No place is any more. I used to call Roanoke, Virginia, the microcosm of America, and demographically, it was. And it was a place that I could do demographic work, and there were a couple of companies that hired me, and and so it was a place I could, other people would say, "We want to know about this." And I would say, "Sure." And I would just look at Roanoke, and I could gather the numbers just from that city that would represent the country. Right? And so I did that for a good 20 years. And not just that, I did other stuff, but that was one of my things. And, so yesterday I was talking to people from there, and they're still doing the same thing they did 20 years ago. And, when I went and visited them, for the 4 months from Thanksgiving to the 1st of March, um, you know, um, I went to everyone and, who were, organizers and the mayor and congressmen and, counselors of what you call it, the state legislature, and basically they all knew me. I've all worked with them, and they just were really. Let's call this boy. He's in England. I think this is Dragon. Let's see if he answers the phone. And it's ringing. Do, 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 do. He's not picking up. Do, 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 do. Hey, homeboy, where you at? Been called you a few times to see what's on your agenda, what you're doing. I guess people always want to know where the crone lives. Crone lives in your heart. That's where the crone lives, right? And here's our boy. Anyway, so I'm doing a live chat. Come on, take part. Okay, talk to you later. Let's see what the homeboy says.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, Sensei Albob. How art thou, my friend? I'm in my own dreamland at the moment. Life is good for me though. Yeah, it's blustery here. There's a real gale blowing outside. I'd rather be where you are right now, that's for sure. Still no access to North America. However, it does look like the narrative is crumbling. Our friend JPC is spitting some truth. I also watched Tucker Carlson and Ben Shapiro, some other, smaller guys talking about politics, and it looks like I'll be able to go over pretty soon. I'm still talking to this girl who's actually coming to see me for a month in England. So, yeah, I think hopefully I can go and live with her in Idaho or somewhere in the USA eventually. But she wants to go to the Smoky Mountains too, so that's kind of cool. We both want to go there, and obviously I want to see you and John. How's John doing, by the way? I noticed he's not posting much at the moment, like he was. He used to do lots of live streams, so I hope he's doing okay. I hope he's occupying himself with stuff to do and having some creative outlets. And this time the same for you all. I hope you're not sick of each other. I hope you can move on soon. It's been a while, eh? So, yeah. If you go live later today, hopefully I can join you. Yeah, I've just got quite a...
So that's Dragon, and that was left in February, right? So it would be great if he showed up and his girl who had a good car, we could try around and see stuff. That would be exciting. And that was in February, so we were there. That's when we were snowed in and couldn't go out for like 3 or 4 weeks. So that was then, and this is now. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see if Lana is available. Well, she's not there. So, the bottom line of all of this is, let's see what this is. No. Anyway, so it's pretty toasty. I just wanted to touch base with you guys. Remember, don't believe anything. Do your own homework. Efrem Austin says he has a website called Polaris, .org or .com. A guy named Joseph P. Farrell, he's got a ton of books. Definitely quite the scholar. David Icke has a ton of books, and he is quite the almost shaman, but he's been at it for 30 years, so he's quite the scholar himself, by writing all his books. And whenever you write a lot of books, the writer has a tendency to kind of repeat themselves. I know I do, and I repeat myself so much that I have to string the books together as a series. Once I said, "Oh, look at this! They're basically the same book, but a little different." So, okay, I'll just turn this one that way and this one that way. And it's quite interesting because when I run into someone who considers themselves, a scholastic, I teach at college in the English department, and talk a little bit, and then I get their email and I send them, a piece of work that's in progress. Because back in the day in New York, there were always all these salons, every spiritual salons, literary salons, scientific salon, all these people, a photographic salon. I was part of Lisette Model and Cartier-Bressant's basic salon, which was truly amazing because there were all these amazing photographers there. Gary Winograd, what's his name? Alan. He was the photo editor of the Village Voice. Alan, I forget Alan's last name. And Boo Boo Tannenbaum, and the lady who started Printed Matter, and so let's see. It's this John Boy.
Bench press. So I guess I'll go down there. Let's go downstairs. I'm gonna go downstairs. Hi. I'm just gonna go downstairs. I'm gonna go downstairs.
Why does John have to lock the door? There's nobody there.
I feel pretty good. Guess I'll do some bench press or something. That's what I was planning, to finally get to do bench press. I gotta take a break. I gotta use the bathroom. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I gotta go use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
Anyway, there was John. I guess he's doing a live chat there. He's about to do a bench press. So he's had that bench press thing there since I've been there, right? So he should be able to use that thing all the time, right? Plus, he's got every kind of gym. He's got a gym there. He's got a what do you call them? Those things where you can walk, right? And he doesn't use it. He's like scared of it. Oh, I fall down, And I wanted to use it, to just so I could walk. Oh no, it's too dangerous for you. What? Anyway, that was just a little exercise to see if that thing actually would show up on the show, right? So anyway, when I was in Brazil building this nightclub on the beach in Buzios, and again, go back and watch all those other things, but it was all of that was just a smokescreen for the Nazis who were there, and they had this big hospital, and they were genetically engineering people, right? And they were people who had who were either criminals or wanted to hide, blah blah blah. They would go there and they would genetically change these people, right? To the point their fingerprints, their face, everything would change. Right? You name it, they could change anything. And it was very similar, J.J. Abrams had a show called Fringe. And pretty much everything in that TV show was what the Nazis were doing. It was quite interesting. And, that parallel universe was basically the Nazis, And your Statue of Liberty is like made out of bronze, It's like that was their metal, So the drunk boy yesterday went on and on about really interesting things, but he couldn't correlate them. Metals are really important. Bronze is, and it is. Bronze is a very important metal. It's a very alchemical metal, right? It's a very esoteric metal, right? And so it's like what comes out of drunk's mouth is pretty interesting. So, but I saw in him this kind of rage because his whole life, he's a pretty good looking guy. So girls, as younger, were interested in him. So he knocked a lot of them up. So he's got kids all over the place. He can't take care of any of them. He can't be responsible. I've been doing plumbing all my life, and I asked him plumbing questions that he knew nothing. So if he has been doing plumbing all his life, then he's pretty stupid. So you look at all these people who I've been a diplomat all my life, and all we have is wars, it's a conflict and just total, what the fuck is going on? And it's all coming to a head. And so that's a good thing, right? And so I don't know what more to say to you guys. I just wanted to touch base. Let's see what's on this little thing.
It's very important for you people to understand. Wicked people does not mean that they're all the time wicked in your eyes, that they're bad people. They are people that you can come across who will smile at you and who are nice people.
Smile at your face all the time. They want to take your place. The backstabbers. Woo.
You have a handful of stuff, and they'll be considered nice and then give a buck, or they'll do all kinds of stuff for you. I mean, this guy said, you can take all the stuff. Just give me back my people. Now, notice that Sodom and Gomorrah, if you recall in your Bible, they're extremely wicked, evil city. But you'll notice right here, wow, what a very nice liberal. See, that's the blindness of this world, is that they make you see the good of these people, and then you pretend their sin did not exist. But then when you look at their sin with their good, then you realize, especially the sinful part, then you realize, wow, they are wicked, evil people. You got to realize this.
Yep, they're wicked, evil people doing nice things. Smile in your face all the time. They want to take your place. Backstabbers. And so all of this stuff is right in our face. All the time they smile in your face. So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and welcome to Dreamy Dreamland. I am your Sensei Al Bob, and don't believe a word I say. The show ain't for kids. It's all about entertainment. It's all a laugh and giggle, just like Estonia. Just like, go check out Estonia, the most digital place on the planet. Next most digital place, Saudi Arabia. They're turning everyone into a robot. But with the, the knock-on effect of what's happening in Ukraine and Russia is, by 4th of July, like I say, 4th of July is it. And that's what I'm saying. The aliens are going to come down and say, okay, kids, you've screwed it up enough. we're going to help. Look, bing, we snap our fingers, and the no more global warming, and the all the poisons you spilled, we like cleanse them all from the earth, and everything is the Garden of Eden again. And now everyone can just be their best, and you don't have to fight, and we'll take care of everything. And remember that Twilight Zone, to serve man. Don't go, Bob, to serve man. It's a cookbook, So, we are in the interest. We are like that frog that's jumped into that pot and was nice and wet and slimy. Oh, that's nice. And then someone turned the heat on. Oh, it's warm. Oh, that's nice. And then starts to bubble. Oh, it's like a jacuzzi. And then they were soup, and people were ripping off their legs and sucking on the bones. So, smile in your face all the time. No, I take your place. Backstabbers, backstabbers. So, conscious intent I am, do your best, don't try, do. Conscious awareness, know your 20 and your 360. So anyway, I just wanted to touch base with you. I'm going to, it's just right. I'm going to go do some work, right? Work on the road. 18 tons. What do you get? A little bit stronger, and who knows? Okay. Backstabbers.